Here at PEI, we are doing a series of short videos on the top 10 digital platform policy issues of 2020. Those are the issues with the most coverage in 2020 on platformeconomyinsights.com. Each one gets a quick 5-minute review, a look back, then a few thoughts on what we can expect from the incoming Biden administration. Okay, 2020's issue number 9, platform media content moderation. The platform economy is based on digital platforms that host all types of user-generated content. Everything from social media posts and links to user-generated videos and music. Marketplace commerce listings of every type, comments boards, reviewers, all that and more. Nearly all platforms moderate that kind of content to some degree. It's a practice that goes back to the beginning of the commercial internet, the goal being to balance the unique and vital contributions of uncounted numbers of people and enterprises everywhere with keeping the platforms free from content that creates a negative user experience. Be creative. We know there's an unlimited type of content that is negative and bad user experiences. The rub has always been in the gray areas. There's never been and never will be agreement on where and how to strike exactly the right balance. Oh, and on the massive platforms, there is unbelievable scale. You're talking about billions of user contributions to major platforms every day. 2020 was a year like no other. We all know that. It was obviously super intense politically. The social media platforms faced withering fire from both the left and the right for their platform moderation decisions. From President Trump and President-elect Biden on down, Republicans and Democrats were intense critics all year. But the most important thing for you to understand is that the critics on the left and the right simply do not agree on what's wrong. They both get upset with platforms, but nearly always for the exact opposite reasons. Conservative critics argue that the large platforms are ideologically biased and penalize conservative viewpoints. They want to drastically limit the ability of those digital platforms to restrict content that is legal, but the platform might find objectionable. The thing is, in the United States, with the First Amendment, almost everything is legal. Progressive critics see the very opposite problem, claiming that platforms often fail to restrict far too much hateful, false, and dangerous content. Shockingly, many progressives often think that what they see on the far side of the ideological and issue divide fits those descriptions. This contradiction played out all year, over and over on every conceivable political campaign, election, health, and shutdown issue. You had Republicans claiming bias and progressives claiming the platforms were simply failing to do their job. No legislation changing the underlying law empowering platforms to moderate as they see fit, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, passed the Congress. Spoiler alert, Section 230 will be back in this list as issue number 2. And none of the regulatory proposals from the Trump administration went anywhere either. But there was a change in platform moderation practices. I think they were more aggressive through the year on election and health issues than ever before. Looking to 2021, don't expect any more success from the Biden administration to legislate or regulate a major change than you saw from the Trump administration. Changing the law to force the platforms to be more aggressive is likely to raise concerns with conservatives. In fact, it will. They already see ideological persecution. But with a Democrat in the White House and Democrats running the regulatory agencies, the platforms may very well be more willing to be even more proactive. Finally, 3 interesting issues to keep an eye on in 2021. First, the big kahuna of internet and platform regulation is coming from Europe, the Digital Services Act package. Get used to the name. A major component, the actual Digital Services Act, is going to be an effort to rewrite the laws, rules, and regulations with the goal of imposing content moderation mandates on platforms in Europe. And honestly, globally. That might end up as the biggest issue of all of 2021. The second issue is the very interesting and creative Facebook Independent Content Oversight Board. This is a truly outside-the-box effort by Facebook to empower a panel of experts to help Facebook make content moderation calls. It got up and running in 2020. We'll watch where it goes in 2021. Lastly, there might be some federal legislation on this topic in 2021, but it won't be too dramatic. In fact, just the opposite. If something happens, expect technical, targeted, and limited. That might work. Look to the PACT Act from Senators Brian Schatz and John Thune. It proposes new rules for large platforms on technical matters like transparency into their content moderation rules and processes, and rights to appeals for users. Okay, this is running a bit long. It's supposed to be 5 minutes, that's what I promised. Next up, 2020's digital issue number 8, Amazon's antitrust problems. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. This is Brian Bieron from PEI. Bye-bye.